Shalom and grace and peace to you today. It is my delight for us to be jump starting this program that we'll be using to resolve and or to discover and resolve the big problems that we were born to solve. All right, so it is my delight to be here with you today. If you are viewing this training for the very first time, my name is Peter Richard Goscott Senior, and we are the developers of the Human Growth Master Plan program under the Legacy Summit and the Legacy Chronicles brand. And it is our delight to be communicating with you through this medium and this course that we have designed with the objective to empower individuals to, yes, to produce, to package, to promote, and present the big problem, or the solution rather, the solution to the big problem that they were born to solve. And I believe that over the next few hours and weeks, that this program that will be progressing, I believe that you will gain some ideas. As a matter of fact, the steps that you are engaging with, these are proprietary to our brand. This is something that we have learned over the years of engagement, and we have repurposed our knowledge, repackage our knowledge based upon the experience that we have had over the years to present this to you. So this is not something that you will hear from somebody else. It is proprietary right here. And the reason why I am saying this to you, it is because you also have something that is proprietary. You came out through the learning systems and the programs of engagement, whether through school, through church, through whatever means of training that you've got. You've developed also some processes from your work experience, your career. All of this formulates an assortment of process by which you are able to do what you do on a day-by-day basis. What this program is designed to do is to empower individuals now to extract their own process, something that is proprietary to you, and develop your own structure, your own call it your own invention, so to speak. Something that it will be traced back to your journey. This is how your journey has brought you to where you are today. Because you see that there are other individuals who are out there who are looking at everything else that they're doing, and they're struggling to get through to the next dimension of their lives. But your perspective on the problem that they're engaging with will make so much of a big difference. And this is why you are here today. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, that we have what we call a special report, substance system structures and strategies, empowering pastors, ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, and career entrepreneurs for greater success in the 21st century. And I make mention about, identifying pastors, ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, and career professionals, because those are the persons that we are uniquely designed to help. And why do we pick those individuals, pastors, ministry leaders, entrepreneurs, and career professionals? Why? Because that's who we are. That's who we are called to. That's who we are appointed to connect with and to give our perspective, because that's the life that we have lived. So the best person to really give an insight into the way forward is usually somebody who have gone that path. The reason why Moses was used to cross the children through the desert to the brink of the promised land was simply because Moses had known that land. He had been there 40 years before, so he knew everything that needed the people need to learn in order to be safe as they pass through the desert, the wilderness, so to speak. So, with that being said, we will be teaching from this document, and I would advise you to send me your email address so that I will send you this document. The reason why we're doing it this way because I need your permission to actually send new invitation or new I need your permission to connect with you from this platform. What if even if we have been communicated long before, what I'm saying is I need a new permission where this process is concerned, and there are some reasons why we're choosing to do it that way, which you will learn as we go deeper into our courses and our relationships, building our relationships as well. Okay, so let me go quickly because we only have a few minutes. These sessions will be between 15 to 20 minutes maximum because we want to condense all our ideas into something that is practical, something that can be easily implemented, and it will give you greater leverage in what you are seeking to do in designing, in producing, in packaging, in promoting and presenting your solution to the big problems that are in your world. Okay, but here's what I want to do today, right in this session. What I want to do is to reiterate something that I said in our last training. And this is very important because it is a part of the mindset that is necessary for you to do or for you to have impact in what you are endeavoring as you are producing, packaging, promoting, and presenting your big solution. Now, mindset is highly important. Your mindset, and I want to repeat this because how you hear something will actually determine the result that you get out of it. So what I want, there's two things or a couple of things rather that I want you to understand right now concerning the proper mindset, because the proper mindset or a mindset first of all is a preconceived a notion that individuals, that human beings have based upon our experience, our exposures, and how we are climatized in whatever we do. So we have a certain viewpoint to particular elements. So when new information comes to us, we measure the new information based upon our previous exposure. And sometimes what happens is our previous exposure do not really give us, or it's doesn't lean toward the kind of the end result that is necessary. So if you judge this new information you're getting based upon your preconceived notions, it may or may not have the greater impact. So because we do not know if or not this new information that we're bringing to you will be adding value to what you already have been processing, now we want to make mention of it, and we want to make sure that we are on the same page as far as your mindset is concerned. So here is the couple of things that we want you to understand why we are presenting this course to you is one, the world is full of big problems. The world is full of big problems. And why is the world full of big problems? The world is full of big problems. Why? Because most people that came through the channels of life, they go back out of life without identifying the big problem that they were born to solve. So one of the things that we will be doing through this course is to assist individual to identify your big problem. All right, there's another thing about big problems is that big problems is the way by which you can generate the kind of revenue that is necessary to bring change, financial change in your life. Any any successful enterprise, they got to their level of success. Why? Because they take on big problems. Let's talk about some of the big problems, the big individuals in there that we're what we're can consider in the marketplace. Let's just call a few names. Let's call the name. Uh, Let me see. The late Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was able to carve out a huge half of the market for himself, and the next half of the market belongs to everybody else. So he was able to solve one of the big problems in the marketplace as far as mobile devices are concerned. There is the iOS, and then there is the operating system that the iPhone use, and then there is everything else, Android. Okay, so because he was able to do that, he was able to command a great portion of the market. Let me use another name. Let me even use the rival that Steve Jobs had back in the early 60s, 70s. They're about in the 80s, coming on. Well, really in the mid 80s. Yes, in the late 70s into the 80s, mid 80s. Um, Microsoft, um, Bill Gates was able at the time to reign for a number of years as the richest individual, the richest company alive, as the leader, as the, the as the person who was able to lead Microsoft, the CEO as Microsoft at that time. Why? Because he was able to bring a big problem whereby computers that usually needed a large space to operate. Bill Gates was able to create a software that goes into the computer that shrink the computer to become what we now know as a laptop or a tabletop. Hmm? So what I'm saying is he solved a big problem and changed the way how the world did business. So we can look at these two examples to understand what we're talking about when we mention big problems. All right. So as we are looking about the big problems, as we're looking about the identifying our big problems, there is something else that we would like to leave with you in this one of these in these training sessions, and it is that big problems, in for you to identify your big problems that you are designed to solve, there are some basic elements that will be essential. And then let me now go back to our special report that we had mentioned. In my next program, in the next video that I will be releasing, we will be going into this document. But before we close right here, I want to also mention to you um, the two foundational stories that this entire process is built upon. And let me remind you that you already have something, and I will reiterate the story that we mentioned, two stories that we mentioned earlier, and you will understand the power of stories as you go through this program as well, and how your story is a part of the formulating of that big problem solution that you do have. So these two stories that we are basing our entire program on is where I was several years ago, and as I wanted to create change in my personal life, and I begin to look at what it is, what I had, and I begin to examine the marketplace to, navigate our way, to develop our way, to find a way by which we can generate revenue to take care of the elements, to take care of the needs, to take care of my family, and to make a contribution. How do I make a contribution to the community? Um, the big issue that the Lord brought to me to understand is what is in my hands. I had to discover that I had something. And I want to remind you right now that you have something. There is something in your hand. When you were born, when you came into life, something was placed in your hands and you were released into the life lane, into the realm of this world that we're now engaging in. And what I want to say is that this program is designed for you to develop or to identify, or even if you have identified already, if you have um, packaged it, we can at every level, because you'll have to produce it, and then you'll have to package it, and then you'll have to promote it, and you got to present it. At those four levels, this program is designed to help you at any of those four levels. So if you've never produced something, we can help you to produce something. If you've never packaged it, we can help you to package it. If you need to promote it, if you have packaged, if you've produced it and you've packaged it, we can help you to promote it. And if you have if you've produced it, packaged it, and you're promoting it, we can help you to present it. Okay, so at every level, we're able to help you to gain a place in the market so that you can impact the world with your big solution. So you have something in your hand. Lastly, before we go from here, is that you have to also understand that there is something in your house. There is something in your house, and there's always something in your house. So the story that I remembered I said in our last discussion about the widow who was so bewildered because her husband had died, and now while she's there mourning for her husband, the individuals that her husband had a debt with, they were now coming to her to get her sons to work off the debt. And the solution to her big problem, the prophet, she went to the prophet, and the prophet said, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to borrow empty vessels. And we have to understand how to borrow empty vessels. This course will teach you how to borrow empty vessels, not a few. And actually, we are looking for individuals right now that will be working with as empty vessels to engage with empty vessels. Because when we become empty at certain points in our lives, we need we need a pouring in. And by connecting with individuals who have a need for something to pour in, that is how the economy that we see out there, that is how the economy works. And when you understand empty vessels, you will never have another financial issue in your life. So with that, I'm going to stop right here, and we will be coming back in our next training program. And I believe that, and I trust that you are gaining insight from this session, which will help you to produce, to package, to promote, and to present the big problem that you were designed to solve.